Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Same, if this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button, turn on the notification so you get notified each time I upload, and please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I want to say a very big shout out to every one of you for all the support and love you all show me here. I am truly grateful. Thank you all so much. So today we're talking something really very important, and it's about the town hall the CNN hosted Donald Trump, right? And Anderson Cooper is out there gaslighting black people and spewing rubbish. Actually, during that town hall, Donald Trump called black men thugs, and said so many nasty things about black people. And this man, Anderson Cooper, is out here saying that, do you think staying in asylum and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away? And I am saying, man, this is bullshit, and we don't want your BS. We do not want your BS, for the fact that you got the nerves, the effrontery to say something like this, and you are pushing. You know what? Stay to the screen. Let me roll this clip. We'll come back to talk about it, and I absolutely want to read all your comments. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. So straight up, let me roll the clip.
CNN has gotten to Anderson Cooper.
Have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions, and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Kaitlan Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Kaitlan Collins did trying to fact check him, it is impossible to fact check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that, giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
That was a master class in gaslighting. That's CNN trying to tell us that we have to be open to everybody. And they used Anderson Cooper because he is one of the last beloved hosts on the network. Most of us who are tuned in and are paying attention are not living in a silo. We see and hear everything that is going on with Donald Trump. Why? Because he is news, and they report every move he makes, which is why it was unnecessary for CNN to give him a huge platform to spew more lies.
What we witnessed at last night's town hall. Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
I know Anderson Cooper did not just sit there and try to shame us for being upset about that debacle that happened on CNN, saying, do we want to live in a silo, when CNN purposefully stacked that audience full of MAGA Republicans. No moderates, no Democrats, no independents, no undecided voters, just straight up MAGA Republicans. And they want to talk to us about living in a silo. Boy, bye.
I want to say you have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
I want for anyone and everyone who identifies as marginalized in the United States to understand the significance of this moment, where a network which from the beginning of his leadership was in vehement opposition to the former president now decides to invite him to a town hall to talk about his next campaign. And in response to the expected angry reaction as to why this was even taking place at all, their response is, well, we have to hear both sides. When Michelle Wolf performed at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, one of the last things she said in her performance was funny, but it actually was completely true, which is that you created this monster and you're now profiting off of him. And she was talking to everybody in the room, regardless of what kind of platform or political agenda they had. This is exactly what a white supremacist media does, and this is exactly how they make their money. But the more important thing that I want for all marginalized peoples in the U.S. to understand is that if this particular moment in media history proves anything, it's that this institution is not worth saving, and it's not going to save you. The institution that is the social political experiment that is the United States of America isn't broken. It's functioning perfectly, exactly as it was designed, which means that whatever change you hope to see in the near or distant future will only come about if that institution is rejected.
Staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
I work for CNN, and I've worked for CNN for the past 10 years. And number one, this is incredibly condescending, especially to CNN staff. And number two, it's just untrue. No one is pretending Trump supporters do not exist. No one is pretending Trump does not exist. It is about covering Trump responsibly. We know that he spreads misinformation and lies. We have learned from our mistakes, and we know we cannot give him a platform to do so. The Trump town hall was not responsible. It was a mistake. We should not have done it. Full stop.
What's going on? Has anyone seen Anderson Cooper lately? Wow, they are so desperate. This is unbelievable. Anderson Cooper literally comes out and accuses Trump of being a liar. Accuses Trump of being a racist because he called a black cop a thug. What? Because he's black he can't be a thug? What, are all black people innocent of everything? That's how insane these people are. But not only that, he admonished the audience that was there. Accused them of being racist. This was CNN's own audience. And he literally, if you see the video, he is literally spreading hatred. Anderson Cooper. He is literally telling whoever's watching that these are your family members, your friends, and they're voting for Trump. This is the most insane, it's almost hilarious how insane it is. Anderson Cooper was the last one I had respect for on that network, and now that's gone too. They just don't get it. They don't get it. They are so clueless as to what's going on in the world. They live in this bubble. They are shocked. They are absolutely shocked that people favor Trump. And I get that. I used to be. The difference between me and them is I got a brain in my head, and I actually thought my way through it. I got red-pilled because of facts. Because I realized that CNN was lying. They're all lying. What an absolute joke. Anyone who believes CNN is a joke.
But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person?
Yes, it frequently does. Hi, my name is Evan. I'm a bioethicist, and I did my thesis on misinformation, disinformation, and conspiracy theories as a threat to public health. I know we're all ranting about this Anderson Cooper clip, and I want to give some perspective on the issues with what he said. Especially this part about staying in your silo, because that's really important to point out. We all know that people like this exist. Every one of us probably has some family member or somebody in their neighborhood, somebody they went to school with, whatever, that you know that looks exactly like the way a lot of these extremists do. But what's important to recognize is that this rhetoric will always exist. So the issue that we have to all address is distribution. Where Anderson Cooper's points completely fall apart, the unmentioned component of it is the distribution. There is no excuse for the distribution that they gave. On top of the distribution, they had the person interviewing him who previously worked at the Daily Caller and an audience that was cherry-picked supporters. So this was a misrepresentation all the way around when it comes to the voting body and who the constituents are. Also knowing that this person is going to adamantly distribute all sorts of conspiracy theories, nonsense, all sorts of terrible rhetoric that targets an immense amount of marginalized populations. The only thing that this did was harm people's mental and emotional health. Anybody who's had a racist uncle who's gone off at a dinner table about the person you're dating not being white, or has had some family member that you've been hanging out with that started to go on a homophobic tirade when they found out that you were gay, understands deeply what kind of harm seeing someone talk like this does to their mental and emotional health. Now imagine taking that one interpersonal moment and amplifying it so that it can get into every home and that other people can begin to ingest it and agree with it. This town hall was not designed to help us better understand or get an inside look at a political candidate. It was designed to harm people. The part about the silos that he talks about is super important because that is actually something that we don't think about as using as a tool to implement on social media, but we can absolutely do, especially on TikTok because of how tight the algorithm is. Now, I do think siloing is bad when it comes to misinformation. It makes people overconsume poor information, but I also think that siloing can be a tool for people to be protective, especially when they're a vulnerable population. Because the folks who have put themselves in a positive silo or supportive silo are trying to avoid damaging experiences. They are not unaware of what else exists out there.
So they are lying, and also you want to gaslight black people. Both this particular man, Anderson Cooper, and all of them are just crazy. Really, this is just how I see them. Because, I mean, it's crazy how people gaslight you and want you to, like, fall into their trap, like believe what they believe, man. We can have the same view, we can have the same ideology. And for him to stand out at the town hall, I mean, preaching so many lies and calling black people thug and saying so many nasty things about black men, man, you see these people? All cray. Thank you all so much for all the support, and see you all in my next. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.